Welcome to another presentation of the Solid Sports video blog. You're watching right here on the Solid Sports and Gaming channel right here on YouTube via the PlayStation Network as well. This is episode 158. Today's date is December 12th, 2020. I'm Troy West. Thank you for joining me today. Big show this week. Like I said, not a lot of baseball news. Nothing big going on in baseball, so we won't have to talk about that today again like we did last week. We will college football, because college football is right now a mess. Ohio State gets a break, as they will be able to play in the Big Ten championship game, as the ADs in the Big Ten changed the rule for the 6-game rule, and they will play Northwestern next week, but there's no Ohio State Michigan today. So that's big news out of college football this week. NBA, Paul George gets an extension. It sort of surprised some people, but he gets an extension to stay with the Clippers for at least the next 5 years. Over $220 million he signs for there. Preseason started last night in the NBA. Just hoping that the coronavirus will stay out of it, so teams can travel and everything. But teams did play preseason game yesterday, and the James Harden latest in the NBA as he's expounded his trade destinations. We'll talk about that, and then a big week in the NFL, Week 14. We look back at the game Thursday night as the Rams was able to pretty much destroy the New England Patriots and probably knocked them out the playoffs. And we got of course, the big 5 games of the week, as I give you all my picks for Week 14. Actually, I got 7 games written down here that are huge this week in Week 14, as we'll take a look at the latest playoff picture as well. And just final thoughts just throughout there. What's the channel doing? Cyberpunk 2077 debut this week, so I got a couple of videos up on that right now, and I'm gonna try to do some more work today on that. But that's sure to get started. NCAA football, like I said, it's a big mess. A lot of teams pulling out of bowl games or saying they're not going to play in bowls. They're just going to end their season, and that's it. As like I said, coronavirus has spiked up all over the country, and I understand that. If you're not playing for a national championship, what's the almost like what's the point? And I think that's what some programs are thinking. And like I said, Ohio State got to break the committees. The ADs got together, had a meeting, decided to lift that 6-game rule. It was, which the rule they made up anyway at the end of the season, that if you play less than 6 games, you ain't eligible to play the championship game. So they left Ohio State out. But Ohio State is clearly the best team in the Big Ten. So the Big Ten is thinking, they outshot to get in the playoff. So they will let them play in the championship game. So it'll be hard to deny them a spot in the college football playoff, especially if they win. It's supposed to be against Northwestern. Northwestern had an all-time year. So that's the scenario there. Some people think it was unfair for the ADs to change the rule. I was on the fence about it because I do think, sometimes you got to stick by what you planned on doing. But this is clearly a money grab for the Big Ten, to give Ohio State a chance to get in the playoff. Even though, who knows, they might have got voted in the top 4 anyway. The top 4 right now is Alabama. I think it's Clemson is 3rd. I think Notre Dame is 2nd, and then you got Ohio State in the 4th spot. Some teams, like the other teams in the SEC, like Florida, Texas A&M, having big years. Florida will play Alabama next week in a championship game. They got a game today as well. A lot of inconsistencies to be in the whole college football dynamic right now this season, which you understand with the coronavirus being what it is. But I understand how people think that's not fair to teams that's played 10 games, 11 games. Well, Florida got 1 loss, A&M got 1 loss. So Ohio State undefeated though, but they only played 5 games, and they will play in the Big Ten championship. And I guess that'll go a long way being the Big Ten champion with just 6 wins. Some people think it's unfair. Like I said, I'm on the fence about it. I think Ohio State is clearly the best team in that conference. So I could understand how they would want them to get in the playoff just because they think they have a chance to actually win it. But, the Big Ten started their season late, them and the Pac-12. And the Pac-12, I don't know what's going on with the Pac-12. They, some games that got canceled all over the country. But the Pac-12 had a real problem keeping games on the schedule. There's no true team, other than USC, and I think USC have lost a game, I think, or 2. So it's no clear team in the Pac-12 that rises. I think the only team in history since the college football playoff has existed that got it is Oregon, I believe. So I don't know what's going on with the Pac-12. The Big 12 got issues as well. I don't think their championship game is set yet, or they lost some games. So it's been just a mess. So I really think maybe by next year things will be back to normal if they got a vaccine getting ready to come out. So I hope next year everything's sort of back to normal in college football. But to me, I think it's going to be Alabama again. Alabama look like the best team in football, in college football. So if I had a prediction right now, I would lean towards Alabama to win it again. Notre Dame, I see bits and pieces of Notre Dame. They good, but I still think they have flaws. Clemson, no doubt Clemson, because every time you doubt Clemson, they turn around and put together a long season. Trevor Lawrence ain't looked that great since he's been back from Corona. But they still, other than a loss to Notre Dame, without him, they undefeated. So, but they got a loss on their schedule though, or their resume. So, and like I said, Ohio State looks real good as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what's happened today and next week with the championship games, how things will shake out in college football overall. All right, let's move on to the NBA. A lot of off-the-court news this week. I don't have it written down here, but the Kyrie Irving drama, I ain't really want to get into that. I think it's just petty. What he didn't go to the media and all this other stuff. They fined him this week. Kyrie, I like Kyrie as a player. Like I said, him and Kevin Durant, but sometimes they mouths get themselves in trouble, or give people the wrong perception. I think they real. I don't know him. I'm saying that like I might know him or anything, but I don't, obviously. But they say two real good dudes that's probably just somewhat misunderstood, which I'm a person that can understand that part of it. Because, I feel like I'm a misunderstood person, and I'm some of my actions and my words is misconstrued as well. But those guys just, I just think they should know by now, So in that case, I'm rooting for them this year as a team. I hope that because people think this might not work, and you can't blame them. Kyrie has been all over the league since his breakup with LeBron. He ain't working in Boston. And last year he was sort of rubbing the team the wrong way as well. And Brooklyn sort of turned it around after he got hurt and was gone. Brooklyn band together, and they've had a good showing. Even in the bubble, they had a good showing. But now Durant is back healthy, him and Durant. So we'll see if this dynamic works. Brooklyn is real deep. People think they're a challenge for the Eastern Conference, which you can't blame it. But I think people won't be surprised if this blows up as well. So, and they try to get James Harden. We're going to talk about that. Well, the rumors out there, even though Durant himself has sort of said that's just basically a rumor. Like it's almost, it's not going to happen, or he don't know where all the rumors are coming from. But anyway, I ain't want to talk that long about it. I just hope he just go out there and play basketball, man. Like, you don't have to do all this indirect stuff. So I'm looking at Brooklyn real closely this year. Hopefully, him and Durant can sort of come back, because Durant been gone for almost 2 years, and Kyrie been in and out. So it'd be good to see them on the court and just play basketball. That's what I want to see, and hopefully they can reach their potential, because it'd be a very, very interesting Eastern Conference if they do. Paul George got money. I think it's about a 4-year extension for $225. I think that's what I heard. Some people were surprised because there was rumors that they was maybe trying to move him. Him and Kawhi, the Clippers, in the bubble was very disappointing. Lost the 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets. All that story. Paul George didn't play well, pretty much in the bubble at all. But just to put everything in perspective, he came out and said he was going through a real depressed time while he was in the bubble. And like I said, I can understand that as well. I have depression issues as well. So I'm not going to dismiss that like that didn't have an effect on his game. I can imagine that it would, if he really is depressed, like how can you go out there and play basketball and focus. But even before the bubble, he's had struggles in the playoffs, so some people not necessarily dismissing that part of it, but that this would have happened if he wasn't depressed, because he haven't showed up big in the playoffs pretty much his whole career. So that's a dynamic. So I think he got a lot to prove, but maybe he sort of criticized Doc Rivers, saying that Doc basically didn't know what he was doing. He didn't adjust in the Denver series. He came out and said some things about Doc. So Doc is gone now. It's Tyronn Lue is the coach there. And now, him saying that, I think the professional and stuff is now, there's no excuse. Doc ain't there. You got your money. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him this year to perform. Clippers, now, which is weird, I guess, to some people. But the Clippers now, I think regular season doesn't matter to them. I think the playoffs is all that matters. Like, they could probably, if they somehow get the 1 seed or something like that, nobody's going to care until the playoffs start. And I think that's what that's the expectation there this year, because now there's no excuses. They get Serge Ibaka. They played last night. I seen clips. Serge hit a couple of threes. I think he is a big pickup for them. But I still think their front line is a weakness. And no point guard is their biggest weakness as well. Pat Bev, he's good, but he's not a point guard. He's just a defensive wing that can play defense on, your type of opposing point guard or wing player. But he's not a point guard. So that's still going to be somewhat of an issue. Reggie Jackson's still there. He can run the point a little bit, but he's more of a shooting guard. So the Clippers still got holes, but if Paul George could reach his potential and Kawhi do what he normally does, that will make up for some of the deficiencies. And Serge, he's been known to be rim protector. Of course, his game has been developed from the outside over the years. But I think if he can, be somewhat of a rim protector, then, like I said, then Kawhi and Paul play to their potential, then, they'll definitely be still a good team. They're going to be a playoff team. They're going to make the playoff. I think none of that matters. I think it's all about at least getting to the Western Conference Finals. Like, I think that's, like, the base, even though some people think they should be a championship team. I don't give them that expectation because, like I said, I just point out the flaws. But I think if they don't get to the Western Conference Finals, it's going to be much, the drama's going to get even worse. So The regular season doesn't matter. It's only the playoffs, and I think they got at least make the Western Conference Finals, minimum, or the season to be pretty much a wash again, and then it'd be questions of why they gave Paul George the money, and maybe people start questioning Kawhi a little bit more. You know, they gave Kawhi sort of a pass to me as far as them choking that 3-1 lead. He did get a lot of criticism. He got some, but he didn't get a lot. You know, a lot of criticism for that. So I think, you know, they both got to prove it. I think that's where the Clippers are this year. Like I said, the preseason started last night. Like I said, I seen the Clippers. I think they played the Lakers. But I think the Lakers ain't played nobody. I think LeBron, AD didn't play. They had the Rockets was out there. They looked good. John Wall and Boogie looked pretty good. I'm just worried about the Traveler, because, you know, they playing at their home stadiums. There's no bubble to start the season. But I think that's why, like I said last week, I think that's why they put out half the schedule. So if, you know, the coronavirus spreads, they could probably sort of shut it down again like they did last year. And then they might say the second half in the bubble, maybe some teams will get eliminated if they get off to a real bad start. Maybe some teams have to stay out of the season again. Maybe that's what they setting up here. But hopefully, you know, everything works out, and there's now no big spread in the NBA, and we can get these games going. What's the date of 12th, right? So we got 9 days left till the season starts. Like I said, this season is going to be crazy with all the teams, all the moves that's been so far. Where James Harden going to go? Will he be in Houston the whole year? I don't think so. I think he really wants out. So a lot of things to look forward to in both conferences. Like I said, the East is very interesting as well. Hasn't been in years. With potential of 3 or 4 or 5 teams. Philadelphia is interesting now with Doc Rivers. With Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Finally, to me, I think they just got to grow up a little bit, mature a little bit, focus on basketball. Milwaukee with Giannis. Drew Holiday, will he be a big difference? Miami will be back this year with the same crew. Bam will be a little bit better. So in Brooklyn, like I said, with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. So in the West, you know how the West is, how deep the West is with all those good teams out there. So just can't wait for it. Just hope, like I said, they don't have to shut the season back down because of the spread of the coronavirus or anything like that. Hope they get the games. I guess there ain't gonna be no fans probably in the stands yet. Just hopefully days will be smooth and the season just plays along as planned, at least for the first half of the season. And I mentioned James Harden a few times. Earlier in the week, he held out a training camp. So that was an issue. He was seen supposedly on social media in Las Vegas partying, and in Atlanta, I believe, or Philadelphia, excuse me, I think partying. And so, like I said, the NBA got strict protocols. So he did finally come to Houston and to try to be with the team, but he got to pass. I think he got to get 6 negative coronavirus tests before he could join the team. And they say he won't. Well, the day's Saturday now, so I think if he's clean by Monday, he'll be able to join the team and stop playing preseason, because preseason started as well. Of course, they played last night, as I said. John Wall looked pretty good, so really fit the dynamic. But he definitely wants out. He expanded this. First, he said Brooklyn, and that's it. But that's, like I said, that's probably unrealistic. Brooklyn don't have nothing to offer unless they're crazy enough to give up Durant or Irving. Now, Irving, people was arguing, well, you know, they would do it for Irving, but that would mess up the dynamic because Kevin want him there. So that's why Irving is untouchable in Brooklyn. But you know, some people say, well, you don't take what is it like Karis LeVert and Dinwiddie and maybe a few more guys. Like I said, Brooklyn is deep. For Harden, and people said no. I guess it depends on how much a problem this Harden thing could be, because John Wall, you know, him and John Wall, we don't know if that's going to work, because, you know, basically James Harden is a point guard, a scoring point guard. He keeps the ball in his hand a lot, and John Wall is a point guard. So somebody's going to play off the ball more than they ever did in their career. So will that really even work? But anyway, I would think about it. I would think about, you know, personally all of Brooklyn young guys, Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert. Pretty much I gut their team. I say, well, if I can't get Durant or Irving, give me pretty much almost everybody else. For Harden, I would do it. I think I would think about it. I would do it. And then Houston, you'll be a deep team in the Western Conference with Wall, and if Boogie get close to what he was, I think they'd still be a decent team out with the West, you know. And maybe a draft pick, you know, I got the whole team. Yeah, you can keep, yeah, I can't have Durant or Irving, but I want just about anybody else I want, I will ask for them and get them. And then they can have Harden, Kyrie, and Durant. People don't think that will work. And, you know, but they so good. I guess you build it up, you know, just build the team around them. Maybe keep DeAndre Jordan off the, can't get him either, because he's, you know, he's boys with Kevin Durant. So they'd be the only untouchable ones, and then, but everybody else, I would say give them to me, and I'll make it work. That's my opinion on it, but we'll see how this develops. Like I said, but he clearly wants out. He's expanding his list. Most of them are Eastern Conference teams, because most of the West, they pretty much got their team set. Like I said, he said Milwaukee, even though that's probably impossible. Miami is an interesting one. He said the Heat, Philadelphia, of course, is on the table. All the contenders in the East, he pretty much said. But Miami would be interested. I think that can work there. But will Miami give up like Tyler Hero and those young guys? But like I said, Houston probably wouldn't want that. They probably want some, you know, probably with Jimmy Butler back or something, which I think that's definitely Miami. Not him and Bam, not untouchable. But everybody else would see Miami. Like I just said about Brooklyn, will I do that for Miami? I don't know. Like I like Tyler Hero. I like or like Gordon Dragic. Gordon Dragic is a very underrated player. Will I gut that team and let them have Harden? I have to think about that one. But I'd do it if I was, you know, if I wanted to, you know, I would offer it for Houston. I don't know if Brooklyn would want to do that or Miami want to do that. Gut their whole team for Harden. But if you're Houston, I would ask, you know, if Harden becomes, you know, because I think Harden is, I think it's 1 foot out the door anyway. So I think you're going to have to do something. And you're not going to get equal value. It just doesn't happen in the NBA. If we create a superstar like that, you're just not going to get the equal. You're just not going to get the equal value for him. So you get something for him, or he's going to walk. I don't know. I think he got like 3 years. I think he got like 2-3 years left on his deal. So he's stuck there unless he's get traded. So so it's a whole interesting. That's an issue dynamic to look out for the beginning of the season. And like I said, I just hope even during the preseason with teams traveling that there's no coronavirus spread, or you know, the season might not even get started. So we got 9 days to get through that. All right, let's go to the NFL. Big week 14, a lot of big games with playoff implications. Let me pull up the rest of the games here. I'll give you all my picks for week 14. Patriots and Rams Thursday night. Rams pretty much dominated. It wasn't surprising to me. New England only put up 3 points, losing 24-3. I think that pretty much dashes the Patriots' hopes for a playoff spot. I think this would be the first time since 2008 they didn't make the playoffs. The year that Brady went down, and they won 11 games that year. So the Patriots been dominant, not just in the East. Yeah, the AFC East has been what it was. For now, Josh Allen down in Buffalo. Tua, that's Miami. They got their quarterback in Tua. The Jets still a mess, obviously. You see, they 0-12. But, maybe not. I mean, but, you had an automatic spot in the East because of the division. But Patriots still made 9 Super Bowls. Not in this 12-year span, but over the last 20 years. But it's a good accomplishment not to make the playoffs. It just makes you think like that. What's going to happen. What's going to happen with Cam. Been a lot of people say, well, this might be it for him. Will any other team give him a chance? I'm sort of in the same camp with that. I don't think this was a good year for Cam overall. He might get another signing, but it's not going to be no big deal. As far as or he might not be a starter. He might come in as a backup if he's willing to do that. People say his personality and all that's too big and he can't be a backup, or it depends on the situation, because if the starter plays bad, they can't sit on the bench. But I don't get that, because if you don't think he can play, why would even the fan base say, oh, well, let's just put in Cam? If the starter, I think it depends on who the starter is. If the starter just an average starter, then maybe, but But I think it's not a good showing for Cam. So Bill Belichick came out this week and said he's still going to start, because he got pulled for Jarrett Stidham, and Jarrett Stidham didn't look good at all for New England. But I think it was just because the game was out of reach. I don't think it was because necessarily Cam didn't play well either. But that Rams defense will make most quarterbacks, I think, look like that. Rams start becoming a real contender, like I said, Thursday. There's a team you got to look out for, and they got experience to make the Super Bowl. They did just a few years ago. They didn't win, but they went through the before. It's all, like I said, it's all on Jared Goff. I don't mean to be so hard on Jared Goff. I just, like I said, how he showed it that Super Bowl 2 years ago changed my perception of him. But he had some bad games, but he's played well overall this year. And they got the running game with the rookie running back, Akers. He looks good. It's the first time I've seen him all year. They ran the ball down New England's throat. So if they can get that running game, it'll be good. Jared Goff can definitely play off that. Sean McVay with his brain. Rams is definitely somebody in the NFC can throw a monkey wrench into New Orleans' plans or Green Bay's plans. Green Bay for sure, if they can slow down Aaron Rodgers. In any type of way, that'd be it for them. So I think the Rams are right up there as one of the top teams in the NFC. So a huge win for them. Now to put pressure on Seattle to win this week, even though they play the Jets, which we're going to get to with the Jamal Adams angle on that. But let's get to the picks now. My big 5 games of the week. I actually got 7 games, like I said, written down here, because all these games have some type of playoff implications. I was trying to decide what 2 I was going to leave out, but I said, you know what? Let's just write them all down. So let's start. Texas at Bears. Texas 4-8. Bears at 5-7. I'm going to go with the Texans here. The Bears is all the free-for-all. They don't know what they're doing on offense. The defense is, decent, but probably got a lot of pressure on them because the offense has been so bad the last few weeks. Houston, big loss last week. I thought they was going to beat the Colts, but the Colts is a decent team. I think Houston next year will be sort of back to be a contender. Well, hopefully they fix this roster. Deshaun Watson is amazing, and I think he'll have an amazing day here. I think they win in Chicago. Cowboys at Bengals. Cowboys 3-9. Bengals at 2-9-1. Dallas. I guess you still got slim hopes to win this division. But other than that, Dallas haven't played well this year. Obviously, losing to Dak Prescott really affected them. But you gotta win this game. everybody keeps saying how talented they are, this and this and that, blah blah blah. Andy Dalton, I guess it to be a homecoming. He's back in Cincinnati. So I think they should win this game, man. If you don't win this game, then you don't deserve to win the division or anything else. So I'm gonna go with Dallas here. I mean, they're just a better team. Cincinnati, no Joe Burrow, no Joe Mixon. So and the defense haven't been good all year. So Dallas should take advantage of that. They should win this game. So I'm gonna go with Dallas. Here go one of my big 5 games. Early game for the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Chiefs at 11-1, Dolphins at 8-4. Chiefs 7-point favorites. To me, that might be a little high. Miami defense is decent, but the Chiefs usually play well against teams that's not in their division. So will Miami be ready for Pat Mahomes, who's having a monster year? Front runner for MVP, but I think Aaron Rodgers to me, I probably would give the nod to, just because I mean, just a little bit more difficult with his defense. Well, both guys' defenses are bad. Well, actually, I don't know. Actually, to me, it's like neck and neck to me. I mean, like, Pat having a big year as well. Aaron Rodgers, maybe I just hate how some people treat Aaron Rodgers, sometimes. But anyway, that is going to be an interesting race to go down the rest of the season. I mean, I got the Chiefs going in Miami winning this game. I think it'll be a tough game, though. Tua, he's back. He was hurt for 1 week. It came back. I thought it was because it was a performance, but he was actually hurt, and he's back in the lineup. Definitely his biggest game of his career. So I want to see how he plays. Chiefs defense a little softer. I mean, they get pressure on you, but they're a little softer than normal defense. So maybe they'll open it up with him more. So this is an interesting game. Kansas City, of course, trying to overtake Pittsburgh for that 1 seed. The 1 seed is very important. Now that's just the only team to get a bye. So big game in the AFC. Dolphins, of course, is right in the thick of things in the AFC wild card. So, but I'm gonna go with Kansas City. I think it'll be less than a 7-point game, though. But I'm gonna go with them to win the game. I think Pat will show out again. I think teams that's not in his division sort of don't get to see enough of him, and I think that's going to factor into this game. I think the Chiefs win, but I think it'll be less than a 7-point game, though. Another big game this week. The Arizona Cardinals at 6-6 against the 5-7 New York Giants. Giants come in winners of 4 in a row, and it's got right back into the division race in the East. Daniel Jones, questionable. I think he might play, but honestly, he's a little bit turnover prone. So Colt McCoy played well as far as like not turning the ball over. I think Lonzo turned the ball over. This Giants defense has been playing lights out. But I like Arizona in this game. I think they Kyler Murray been struggling a little bit. They say it's a shoulder. I think they know how big this game is. Wouldn't be shocked if the Giants win the game, but I'm just going to go with the Cardinals. I just got a sort of feeling that they've been struggling of late. I think they'll come out and play hard. I think Kyler Murray get things back together, him and DeAndre Hopkins. But I think it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be a close game. I think the Cardinals somehow pulls it out. I think Kyler Murray is the better quarterback. When things, seem even, you go with the quarterback here. So I think Kyler Murray will make some plays, enough plays to win this game for the Cardinals. I think they win and keep their playoff hopes alive. Giants, it'll be a huge loss. But Washington got another tough game this week. So maybe they hope Washington loses. Like I said, I think Dallas, to me, Dallas and Philadelphia is out. Like, I don't see them crawling back up into it. So a loss wouldn't hurt them too bad, but it will hurt. But I think the Cardinals win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Another big game this week because of playoff implications in the NFC. The Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers 6.5 point favorites now. Minnesota, and which makes you be frustrated with them. They got off to the bad start of the season. They've been rolling up late. They got back to 500. Tampa been up and down. They had some great moments this year, but they have struggled over the last about month or so. They had a bye, so I think that does give them some of the advantage. Tom Brady get himself together, get his mind right. Let's see if they get Tampa's offense back on track. I think the 6.5 points that's high. I think it'll be close. Kirk Cousins, just like any other quarterback, don't turn the ball over. If you don't turn the ball over, Minnesota, like I said, is one of the best teams in football. They can be. They have the potential to be. Now, their defense to me has been somewhat of a disappointment, but it's played better of late. But I'm just going with Tampa to win the game. I think them being off this week, I think that got them mentally back together. I think they'd be real focused. Kirk Cousins usually in these games, big games like this, he gonna give you at least 1 or 2 turnovers. At least that's how his history has been. So I'm gonna go with Tampa to win it. I think it'll be close though. Dalvin Cook, I think you gotta give the ball to Dalvin Cook. In Minnesota, it's another Dalvin Cook game. Give the ball to him. Make sure he gets his touches. They actually give it to the rookie Jefferson, who's unbelievable. He's had a monster year. People's really starting to notice him. And Adam Thielen, of course, underrated receiver. So Minnesota has the team to compete. But they'd be if they do make the playoffs, they'd be dangerous for whoever that 2B. It looks like it's going to be Green Bay. I think that'd be a tough game for the Packers. I don't think they want to see the Vikings again. I think they just beat Green Bay a few weeks ago after Green Bay demolished them in week 1. So that'd be an interesting dynamic. But I think Tampa win this game, and Minnesota still might make it, but it will hurt. Like I said, any loss will hurt. All these big 5 games, a loss will hurt the other team. So, but I think Tampa will get it done at home with the bye. I think they'll be ready. But if Dalvin Cook gets off and Kirk Cousins stay clean, it's going to be a tough one. But I like Tampa to pull it out. Broncos at Panthers, both teams 4-8. Panthers, little dynamic with Christian McCaffrey. Should he shut him down for the rest of the year? Should he play? Personally, I would think about it. I would at least think about shutting him down, because this season, this season pretty much is over. And you just paid him a big contract, so you want him to be, you want to get the most out of him as you can. But that's something I guess to watch for. But I wouldn't blame him or anybody if you want to play, let him play. But I would at least suggest to him, maybe you should chill out the rest of the year, get yourself right for next year. But we'll see how that goes. Broncos had an interesting year, up and down year as well. Drew Lock though showed a little bit of promise, like he could be the long-term quarterback. But them losing Von Miller for the year, the defense has been up and down. But they've been in a lot of games, a lot of tough games. But I'm gonna go with Carolina just because Teddy Bridgewater usually plays well in these type of games. So I'm give them the nod. I think it'll be a close, tight game though. Panthers 4.5. I think that's maybe sort of about right. But I think it'll be a tight game. I think Panthers will win though. Titans at the Jaguars. Titans 8-4. Big loss last week to the Browns. And the Jaguars are 1-11. But Jaguars are playing tough. Playing tough. Even though almost doesn't count, as Brandy would say. But they have played pretty well despite them losing. They lost 11 in a row. But I think the Titans know they're trying to win this division. I think they're going to be upset about the loss last week. Mike Gray, we're going to have them focus. I think this could be a potential blow. I think the Jaguars been fighting, but I think this might be a game they get blown out at, even though it's a division game. I'm going to give it 9 points to Tennessee here. I think it might be higher than that. I think Tennessee might dominate this game. and I think they win big. Colts at Raiders, big game in the AFC for playoff implications once again. Colts, big win last week against the Texans, to keep pace with the Titans. Raiders got lucky last week, beat the Jets. Jets should have won that game. They called it the Casino Blitz. They had, we're going to talk about the Jets eventually, actually next. Got rid of Greg Williams because of that. Raiders hasn't looked good the last few weeks, especially the defensive side. So I have to go with the Colts because of that reason. I think, Phillip Rivers will be able to exploit that defense just enough, and then the Colts defense is no joke. So I think they're going to slow the Raiders down a little bit. So I got the Colts going in Las Vegas and winning this game. And that will really hurt Vegas' chances because the Colts were on the tiebreaker if they wind up being tied. So this will be a huge loss for either of these teams because then it'll be the flip side for the Raiders against the Colts. If the Raiders win, they know they have the tiebreaker. So this is a huge game, and I think the Colts will win it. And the Raiders, I think it'll be all life support for us making the playoffs. And I got the Colts winning in Las Vegas. Huge game though, for AFC playoff picture. Jets at Seahawks. You would think this would be maybe a road game. They got Seattle by 15. I don't know. The Jets been playing pretty okay. I probably would take the points. Honestly, it'd probably still be like 10-point win or something like that. But 15 to me seems, even for this game, seems a little high. Seattle has been up and down the last few weeks. Russell Wilson haven't played his best football. Like I said, Jamal Adams came out and said yesterday, of course, former Jet, now got traded to Seattle before the season started. That there's no hard feelings towards the Jets. He just moving on. I don't know. He used to talk a lot of bad stuff when he was there, so I think this game probably is a little personal for him. I think he gonna want to come out and make some plays. And the Jets, like I said, just a mess, man. Like, got rid of Greg Williams, like I said, off the stupid call that cost them the game last week. Adam Gates, I think, is a dead man walking. I think they just try to wait till the end of the season. And I think, they put so much into last week's game and came up short. It's potentially, the Jets always have the potential to be blown out, but I think, like I said, I don't think it'll be a 15-point game just because how Seattle has looked, but it's had the potential to be. Obviously, I'm picking the Seahawks to win this game. I just don't see. I can't pick the Jets at all. I think they might go over 16. Packers at Lions. Packers at 9-3. Lions at 5-7. Lions, big win last week. They got rid of their coach Matt Patricia the week before. But I think Green Bay, to me, Aaron Rodgers had a lot to prove. That's why I say he might wind up rising and still winning the MVP. I think he knows his time is short to try to win the Super Bowl. So I think Green Bay will make a statement here. I think they win this game by at least 10. Got the Packers winning on the road. Saints and Eagles. Saints at 10-2. Eagles at 3-8-1. I think Taysom Hill still will be playing. I think Drew Brees is still a week or two away. Eagles made a quarterback change this week, going with Jalen Hurts to start over Carson Wentz. The Eagles been a mess there. Rumbles about Doug Peterson might be let go and all this other mess. But I think the Saints are just, you got to say they're the best team in the NFC for sure. Especially defensively. A lot of people don't talk about the defense. The defense has been playing very, very well. It's Jalen Hurts' first start. I just think it's going to be too much for him. I think Taysom Hill, the Saints do enough, and they win this game to establish that one seed in the NFC. I think the Eagles pretty much just will eliminate them from the East if they had a chance in the first place. I think the Saints win. Falcons at Chargers. Falcons Just gonna go with the Falcons to win here. Justin Herbert came back to earth a little bit last week, but it was against Bill Belichick and his defense. But I think it'll be an entertaining game. Atlanta only a 1.5-point favorite though. But I just think Atlanta just a little bit better. Anthony Leonard's on the high seat. Like I said, I agree. If he's on the high seat, fine. But if he has anything to do with Justin Herbert's play, if he have any personal fingerprints on that, I think you gotta at least give him another year. Then if they start off bad next year, then maybe let him go. But I think you gotta at least start him. Give him another year, at least the beginning of the year next year. But I would go with the Falcons to win. Washington at the San Francisco 49ers. The Washington football team, huge win last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, so they ride high, very confident. Alex Smith going against his old team, which is sort of underrated storyline this week. I think a lot of people ain't talked about. 49ers, you know about their injuries, COVID, everything else. They dealt with a lot. Having to move to Arizona. This game is to be played at Arizona, by the way. Just all the things they went through to still be at 5-7 is remarkable. I think this is going to be a tough game. 49ers actually a 7-point favorite. That's surprising to me. Like, how are they 7.5-point favorites? I would definitely take the points easily without hesitation there. But I'm going to just go with Washington to win this game. I just think that defensive front will be able to get to Mullins, the backup. And I think the Washington offense now has some type of identity, you know, run the football, like Alex Smith, big player too. I think Washington playing better, playing pretty good. I think they go in there and get a big win, and they beat the 49ers on the road. 7.5, that's high. I don't get that spread at all. Like, how can you? Now them being favorites, fine, but 7.5, no, I don't agree with that at all. Sunday night football, Steelers at Bills. Steelers coming off the loss to the Washington football team I just mentioned. Bills at 9-3, playing confident. But I think the Steelers will win this game. I just think Mike Tomlin not gonna let them go in there and lollygag. Steelers been skating, like I said, skating on ice all week. I mean, the last month or so haven't looked good at all, especially offensively. I think the offense will find some type of rhythm in this game. I think they'd be focused. I think Tomlin got on them this week. The Bills, you know, wouldn't shock me if they win this game. Some people picking the Bills. They is favorite. Josh Allen, I guess it's just because the Bills, like I said, just when the team have it one of these big games like this, it's hard for you to, you know, have confidence in them they can win it. Now, I'm picking the Steelers because, like I said, they're coming off a loss, and I think they'd be ready and motivated. But the Bills are capable of winning this game. They really are. But Josh Allen got to be clean. Can't turn the ball over. Can you get Diggs the ball? We have enough time to throw the ball downfield. I guess you use your running ability. Josh Allen's played pretty well this year. But this is a huge game, probably the biggest game of his career, other than the playoff game I guess he had last year. Let's see what he could do. Prime time spot. That's why I think the Steelers just a little bit more experienced, and I think they'll win this game. I think it'll be a close game, and I think they win it. And the final game of the week, Monday Night Football, Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Browns coming off a huge win last week against the Titans. People starting to pay attention to the Browns now at 9-3. Ravens at 7-5. Of course, didn't have Lamar for one game against the Steelers. Came back, looked okay Tuesday night against Dallas, but it was Dallas defense. They ran the ball all over them. Browns a little bit better defensively than that. They beat the Browns pretty badly in week 1. So this is an interesting game, but I think the Ravens, I ain't gonna lie, maybe it's because of me being a Ravens fan. I just think this is almost a must-win game to stay alive in the playoff picture. I think Cleveland, they're capable, you know, will they keep giving the ball to Chubb and Hunt, or will they try to give it to Baker again? I think if they run the ball, I'm worried as a Ravens fan that the Browns can win this game, and they are capable of winning this game. Myles Garrett is back. He looks sharp. So I think it'll be a tight, close division one game, but I think the Ravens will somehow pull it out and keep their playoff hopes alive. I think the Browns are going to make the playoffs, though. even if they lose Monday night. But I think the Ravens will go in there and win the game. So with that being said, let's take a look at the current playoff picture. Okay, I don't have a lot of time left, so I gotta get hustling here. Come on, stand this lower. Here we go. Okay. Okay, alright. AFC, Pittsburgh 1, Kansas City 2, Buffalo's 3, Titans 4, they're the 4 division leaders. They're Cleveland at the strong 5th position, Miami, Indianapolis 6 and 7, Ravens and Vegas at 7 and 5. So that's why, like I said, this is a big game for the Ravens. The Colts play the Raiders this week, so one of them are definitely going to lose. So Miami got a tough game against Kansas City, so it could be a 3-way tie again for those final spots. Like I said, it'd be if Cleveland able to win, that'd be big for them. Like I said, I think the Titans going to win this week as well against Jacksonville. So a lot of, like I said, all those games had big playoff implications. In the NFC, Saints, Packers, Rams, Giants, because of the division, they're 4th. Then the wild cards are Seattle right now at 8 and 4, Tampa Bay at 7 and 5 at 6, and then you got Minnesota, Arizona tied at 6 and 6 right now. Minnesota has the tiebreaker, so that's why it's a big game for Arizona and Minnesota this week to win. Washington, of course, is still alive because of the division, but Chicago and Detroit, I just think they're just not going to put together a run. San Francisco, I think they just got too many problems, so that's probably why people are already pretty much writing them off. Even though they're only a game back, it could be tied for one of those spots after this week. Alright, so that's it for the NFL Week 14. Got a lot of big games, like I said, for playoff positioning. Final thoughts real quick. Make sure you join me Thursday as we have another sports blog. I don't know who plays Thursday, but I'll be back Thursday for that. All the rest of my projects, Cyberpunk 2077, that's on here right now. And just check out all the rest of my projects here. Like I said, I'm running out of time, so I gotta go. I appreciate you guys for coming here. I appreciate you guys for joining me this week. Appreciate all the support as well. I'll talk to you guys Thursday. Make sure you check out the rest of my projects right here on the channel. I'm Troy West saying thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.